This some 1984.
Crimez.
It's some 1984.
Thought Crimes.
Warning: the Federal Communications Commission has determined the following content to be emotionally harmful. Snowflakes should not view this content under any circumstances, even if supervised by a G.I. Joe, Navy SEALs, Army vet, or someone with good common sense. The views and opinions expressed, including the depictions of persons of color, corrupt politicians, white people with or without a tan, haters who have yet to brush their teeth typing angrily in the comment section with hot breath syndrome, do not reflect any official policy or position of the U.S. government. This program contains graphic language, dark comedy, unique intelligence, creativity, a high credit score, and high blood pressure when triggered. This program has also been accused of racism, violence, misogyny, mansogyny, feminism, MGTOWism, defacement of celebrities, and of course, being a bully. Welcome to Thought Crimes.
Welcome to Thought Crimes, everyone. Welcome. This is your girl, Sincere.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your man, Payola Free Zone in the building. We're doing wonderful tonight, too, by the way, or early in the morning, depending on where you are. I think on the West Coast, it might be late night for you all. You guys might be out there late night creeping, right? It might be late night creeping, and if you're on the East Coast, I'm sure, shouts out to the waste management team at night, taking the trash out in New York City.
Yeah, we up. Let us know if you can hear our mics, though. It's very important before we begin this that you can hear us. Holla if you hear us.
All right, y'all. As you guys can see, the title of this particular stream here is The Game Disses Rick Ross. I believe the track is called Freeway's Revenge.
Yes.
As predicted, Cindy Night, we did talk about that the game was going to come outside. But, you know, before we begin, too, by the way, Cindy, you want to look at the chat? Everything is good?
No, everything is good. I'm glad everybody's here. I mean,
right. Y'all can hear
we're
us.
about to break through this. The game did make a smart move by not dissing Kendrick Lamar. He made it clear in the diss record that it's really about him and Rick Ross. But I don't think it's just about Rick Ross. I think the game came out here to let anybody know that if anyone disses Drake outside of Kendrick Lamar, he's going to be the assassin to try to lyrically go after any of them and pick them apart. Yes. Rick Ross is just the easiest to go after because he's a part of the same generation as the game. He can also spin it and say, well, if Rick Ross can jump into this, then
so can
I can jump into this as well.
Yeah.
He basically stated that he wanted to vest Drake up in 100, you know, and he's been close to Drake for a while. He even went after Meek Mill on behalf of Drake, so it doesn't surprise us that he came out. And again, smart move not to attack Kendrick Lamar because that would not be good. It will make LA look weak. It will make the West Coast look weak. And Kendrick Lamar is right now the global hero, the musical purist, the musical genius. So it's a very tactical move, and he was trying to make that known in Freeway Revenge. He was saying, I am of the art of war.
Yeah. Knew this was happening. Now, to get straight to the point, I want the chat to understand. Please expect Rick Ross is going to reply. I want that to be clear before we continue on. You know, we do, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a rap match, okay? I believe this will be, the late Gen Xers? The late Gen Xers will get into the boxing ring on some Mike Tyson type stuff right now, and they're going to go in. But Rick Ross will respond, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that he's going to be able to throw at the wall. And, of course, I'm sure Game is looking to have a lyrical exercise this spring and moving into the summer, where I do expect things to turn up a little bit more. But to the point that's been opened up at the top of the stream, yes, we talked about the Game is a de facto merchant. Let's see. He's an enforcer, a merchant enforcer that is to flex his teeth publicly for anyone else that is looking to get into this conversation with Drake taking this huge L. Let's be clear, Drake lost. I want that to be clear abundantly. I know academics, when he was talking to DJ Head, or he was talking to someone on the stream, where he said he felt Kendrick Lamar won the rap battle. Then when he got over there with Andrew Schultz, he said he didn't feel Drake lost.
Of course.
Now all of a sudden the Game is out. So, and they're saying that they're looking that Drake is supposed to be coming back with something. I'm not going to lie to you all. I'm a little bit of fatigue now of Drake taking L's at this point in this particular battle. Okay, I think people are going to be looking forward, if it continues on, what creative direction will Kendrick be going with his further diss records? But yes, the Game is here to let it be known to somebody like Rick Ross, as we talked about in one of the videos that we uploaded not too long ago. Drake does not know what to do with Rick Ross. He tried to Officer Ricky line, handcuff him like Officer Ricky. He tried to troll him and say, that Rick Ross is a racist. That was the first time we've ever heard that in a battle. But anyway, and he's tried some other things. He tried to call him old or old nigga. It's not really working.
And it's not working for any of the people he
Yes.
tried. Drake took an L with Metro Boomin. Metro Boomin had the last laugh with BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy was created by Rick Ross, and then you had King on the internet turn it into a soul track. Everyone that Drake tried to diss as if he was the big boss, they all had the last laugh. They all outshined him, including, of course, King Kendrick right now, who is the king of the millennial rap game right now, and superior pen games than Drake.
Right.
No artificial, true artist.
Right.
And also, too, what your point is about academics. Academics is a liar. So that's why he goes on his platform, he say Kendrick won, and then he got a call from Drake, so then he has to go on live and say Kendrick Lamar didn't win because he's a hater, just like he was hating on Nipsey Hussle, just like he was hating on XXXTentacion before he died. I wouldn't be surprised if Academics was a part of that shit too. Like, so he's a big phony. But to get back to the Game and what you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, strategy-wise, I think it's smart for Game. It's smart for him to get back in the game. He knows he can't portray Kendrick Lamar. He knows what's up on that. This is to show he's a mercenary. And anyone else who jumps in besides Kendrick, he will go and diss them. Now, the ball is in Rick Ross. I think Rick Ross has the upper hand, though. I do agree with the chat. And I do agree with what we said in our previous stream, Prince and I, when we said, look, Rick Ross doesn't have to reply. He doesn't really, because this will only get more shine if he replies. Now, the hip-hop in me wants him to reply because that would be such an interesting battle. You got to understand, the Game lyrically is up there with Lupe Fiasco, Ghostface Killer, Raekwon the Chef. He's up there with a lot of heavyweights, Royce the 5'9". So the Game is lyrically deadly. And then Rick Ross is, and then also just real quick, the Game has a lot of humor. Then you have Rick Ross, who is very hilarious. When it comes to doing diss records, people always have basically undervalued him. He defeated 50 Cent.
Yeah, he did do 50 Cent in, and it was a very good job. I mean, Mafia Music is a very, very good track. You know, Cold Blooded is a good track as well. So I do believe, based on the activity of Rick Ross online, he's been silent right now because I believe he's getting ready for his car show. However, though, I do believe Rick Ross is going to respond to the Game. I believe he's going to respond to the Game, And I believe Rick Ross is going to cross the lines just as much as the game has already crossed the line in this previous record here, Freeway's Revenge. I will say this, though. I actually like the instrumental. I like the first instrumental better than the second one. I know we was going for some of the soul sampling, but the first instrumental, it sounded more barbaric. But I get why he did the second instrumental flip. He's trying to flip Rick Ross's style. He says, I don't want to hear about spiral staircases. He was mimicking Rick Ross's voice. So it would be interesting to see these two get into the ring together. They both have humor in their rhymes. But we do believe, as we stated before, look, Drake is a multi-million-dollar investment. You know, he signed over his likeness for $400 million. The record labels do need to recoup. I disagree with people online. I do believe UMG did try to broker a deal. I do believe Kendrick Lamar does not want to give no type of apologies. I think Kendrick Lamar doesn't want to give anything to the likes of Drake as far as a heads up, nods out, shout out, a handshake, anything. If he says, I hate the way you dress, he doesn't want to see you in existence in this particular space. Because of that, the world has been steamrolling Drake. And I said, Drake has taken a bigger loss than Ja Rule in the culture. At least nobody came out and said Ja Rule didn't write any of his rhymes. Nobody came out and said Ja Rule wasn't writing anything. In fact, Ja Rule was penning other people's hits quietly. That's another story. But in this particular situation, I think Drake has taken a grand L. It's being played, like that. Euphoria, not like us, and Euphoria are being played during the playoffs. You got to try to slow some of the bleeding down. And I don't think anybody else was going to really kick Drake at this point because people have voted and felt that Kendrick Lamar had won.
He did win.
So he did win. But I do believe Game is coming out there to flex T for a different reason.
Look, and also, some people are going crazy about what I said about the Game being a lyricist like Lupe and stuff when it comes to diss records. Yes, he is. He went and destroyed 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks. Lloyd Banks is a very savvy lyricist. People are looking at the bloated face, depressed Game, and where he's at right now in his career. But when it came to diss records, yes, he was up there with Lupe and Royce and them. The Game and Joe Budden had a legendary back to forth with each other.
7-minute tracks, 8-minute tracks, 9-minute tracks, 12-minute tracks. It's actually still one of my favorite mixtape battles.
Right, and just to refresh people's memory, Joe Budden went up against Royce. If Royce would, Joe Budden and Royce would tell you, based on lyricism when it comes to diss record, that Game is up there with them. They would say that themselves.
Yeah. Game does have his own thing, and what's that boy's name? Plain Pat Stay, the one that said, Game had a bunch of ghost writers and all this type of stuff. Like, I understood, and I know, he's dead now. Rest in peace, whatever. I get it. But I'm like, I was kind of fucking with a little bit of his flow, but I was like, come on now, stop it. We've seen the Game get busy and rap that shit for a very long time. But I do expect Rick Ross. Rick Ross will be responding. That's not the type of rapper that how the Game, of course, you have to remarket your opponent, and the type of MC or the rapper that Game was marketing in that particular diss, the Game will, like Rick Ross will not respond. I don't think that. I think his only goal is to stop Rick Ross' attention or take the attention of Rick Ross, what he's doing with Drake, off of him and make Game and him the focus for the spring and the summer. You get what I'm saying? So I really believe that's all the Game's purpose serves as at this point in time concerning the situation. But yes, I do believe Rick Ross will be responding, and I'm sure the Game is going to be trying to fly out somewhere like he did Meek Mill. And Meek Mill didn't say anything because he got a home in L.A. at the time when he got into it with the Game. And Meek Mill don't run nothing in the streets like that.
Based off the Art and War, I wouldn't respond. Because the Game in this one, he's playing around. He's laying a bait. And he didn't really give Rick Ross anything to respond to. Yeah. If I were Rick Ross, I would wait. If the Game gives me something that I can't ignore,
track number 2,
where I have to respond, then okay. But Rick Ross should not respond to this. This is some trolling trickster shit The Game sent it first to bloated ass academics. So this is just another bait track, and if Rick Ross was wise, he would say nothing unless Game drops what his lyrical capabilities truly is, and something even better than that. Again, the diss record, Freeway's Revenge, it wasn't as he definitely got busy in the second half of the track lyrically, but again, it's a bait trap, and I think Rick Ross should ignore it. Even if you say Prince like he wants to respond or he's thinking about responding, I would not, because the traction is not even there. I don't even think a lot of people are like running over there for there to be an interaction between the Game and Rick Ross, except for like real lyrical hip hop heads. But surface level people and casual fans of hip hop, or the people who are more invested in Kendrick and Drake, they're not. Again, it's not saying it's impossible for it to go that way, but I think the Game would have to give more than just his trolling bars and really give something in order for Rick Ross to respond. At least that's what I think he shouldn't respond. Now, I could tell the Game was watching one of our lives, though, because he said, bad kid in a good city, and that's something we talked about referring to Drake. He also let it be known that he's coming for streamers as well, because I guess he dissed Kai Cenat.
He was telling Kai Cenat, turn it on, it's about to be a show.
Turn it on, it's about to be a show?
Yeah, because they're the new, the streamers they're the new radio stations now.
So people were false when they said that Drake unfollowed Kai Cenat?
No, they said Drake blocked him, something like that, because Kai Cenat, he gives his honest opinion about it. You saw he had Offset on it, and he still said the album was mid.
If Kai Cenat blocked him, I still think it's a diss then. Because...
You mean Kai Cenat? Kai Cenat, what do you mean?
Did Kai Cenat get blocked by Drake?
They said that Drake changed his phone number.
But he didn't block him?
He didn't block him.
Okay, so that was a false one that people said. Okay.
Yeah, I think Game, what he was doing, he's shouting all of these streamers out to see if they're going to, promote the song. When they mention it, they're going to be like, oh, I got mentioned by the Game. You remember how like Drake put Academics at the end of Push-Ups? What top 5 you smoking on, Kenny? And then Academics went wild behind it.
Well, I would say this then. I think Drake and Academics are dumb. I agree with people saying in the chat. You should have had, when Rick Ross came out with Champagne Moments, you should have had the Game come out then. And the Game make it clear, look, I'm not going after Kendrick. Kendrick is a part of my seat, like he did in this track. You should have had the Game come out then. People have lost interest in a lot of the side characters, with the exception of maybe like Future and Metro, of course. People may want to see what ASAP have to say since Drake keeps attacking Rihanna. But this goes further to show you that Drake is a meathead and so is Academics. And I think Rick Ross should not give this any light unless the Game comes with something harder. If Rick Ross gives it any light, he will be making a tactical mistake, because, even look at the chat.
Yeah, just to put this out there.
Yeah,
just to put this out there, look. This also has to do with Birdman. Yeah, let's keep that in mind. It's not just a Drake situation. Remember, Rick Ross was also dissing Baby. And Baby, Cash Money at one time did acquire the Game after the Game had fallen out with G-Unit, Geffen, and then also Jimmy Iovine as well. So the Game did serve a brief tenure on Cash Money Records, and we understand the history of Cash Money, Mac Main, the Blood affiliation, Lil Wayne, being a very, very important billboard for the Bloods as an organization. When you're talking about coming behind the likes of Mac 10 and all them boys, and again, publicly, the most successful gang affiliated member would have been Snoop Dogg, and then the Game comes in and he sells 5 million. I think the first time, 5 million the second time, and then Lil Wayne is waving his flag, and then we see the Game and Lil Wayne running together, and then from that point on, we clearly see there's some sort of gang cultural marriage there. So I'm not surprised. I actually suspected when Rick Ross mentioned Gladys, Birdman's mother, and he was trolling Baby, I felt at some point in time the Game was going to show up in the conversation somewhere. Somebody was going to activate him somewhere, giving the close ties and connections. Now, what will more than likely happen, I think the game is going to further apply pressure to Rick Ross. I think he's going to try to come back because this does feel like an introductory track by the game. I think the game is about to try to run on a whole campaign, trying to force Rick Ross somewhere along the line to respond to something. But I think at this, I'm going to be honest with you all. After Drake took his public L, I think a lot of steam has been taken out of the situation at this point in time. I do believe that. I understand that, academics at the OVO headquarters is saying, hey, guys, get ready. Something's going to come. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think the public is all that interested other than the hardcore Drake fans. And look, it is what it is. Keep shooting for your stars and whatever. But you guys got to understand, Not Like Us is the Super Bowl parade. Not Like Us is the celebration parade. That's it. The playoffs are over.
The victory lap already happened.
Yeah, the finals are over.
Yeah, and again, if you wanted to go after Rick Ross, because let's say if because the game always go after people if he feels like someone's getting bullied. So the game knows he's not going to be able to go after Kendrick. So if you was going to follow Drake and Birdman because you got love for them and you talk about vest them up and all that other stuff, it should have been beforehand, but I'm not blaming the game on that. I think that Drake is a himbo. I really think that Drake is not smart. And I also think academics isn't smart. And when you have your think tank dumbasses like academics and Aiden Ross, you're going to always lose. Anybody, if I was advising, just like we're advising, Rick Ross, I do believe, though, Prince, that when he says like the Rick Ross probably want to say something, but I would advise him not to, just like Prince advised him not to on the previous stream. But when you have two retards as your think tank, this is why you got the L and Kendrick has the W and the victory lap, because a good think tank would have advised you when Champagne Moments came out and dropped. A good think tank would have told you, release the game.
Yeah, another thing about it, too, is it's kind of, I say this, anybody that does anything now, it's pork chop bone scrappings at this point. I mean, all of the meat. I mean, Kendrick Lamar ate all of the meat up. I mean, the public is having fun. They're full. Everybody's having their festivities. The women got their summer dresses on. They're making their ass cheeks claps, even the nerd women. Everybody's having fun. Even the men that can't dance are trying to blood walk or crip walk right now. Everybody's having fun. And I'll be honest with you, anything beyond that, and the other thing that kind of makes the situation between the game and Rick Ross a little bit clunky and awkward, Rick Ross was one of the people that actually showed up for the game on the One Blood remix when 50 Cent and the corporations that were still behind G-Unit was really trying to sit the game down, blackball them across America. Now, one could argue, it's been suspected that, some hitters on the West Coast, particularly in music, wanted their own version of 50 Cent, which would have been the game, just, more of a better lyricist, probably not strong as a songwriter, but much better lyricist. And there was a period in time where the career of the game was very uncertain. And in fact, when the game did his posse cut, the One Blood remix, Rick Ross was one of those people that showed up, and this is, I believe, deeper than Rap Port of Miami. Rick Ross, this is kind of like the artistic prime of his career, and Rick Ross had shown up. The game showed up on some of the remixes on the Deeper Than Rap album, which is one of Rick Ross's classics, and they've always kind of had some synastry. You've seen it on Ali Boumaier, the one joint, the Muhammad Ali joint with 2 Chainz, Rick Ross, and the game. So for me, just as a hip-hop fan and a hip-hop historian, no LeBron James lace front, I'm going to be honest with you. This one kind of feels out of place because most of the time Rick Ross and the game have been operating on the same side. And it's ironic that the game is behind Drake, but also so is 50 Cent supporting Drake in the fight. Even 50 Cent kind of had a shady post to Kendrick Lamar when he said, Euphoria really bangs, and I think he said this is really about hip hop, and he says I would post it, but it's too long to post. So even in this scenario, the game going after, and I'm gonna be honest with you all, because I've listened to the game for a long time. Like even some of his lesser mentioned albums. I'm just speaking from a rap listener's perspective. I don't know Game as a person. I didn't feel no conviction in this diss. I felt the first beat was harder, but I didn't really feel like Game had strong conviction in this diss. Like it didn't feel like anything. I don't know, because like I say,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it didn't feel like anything. Because if you really think about it, like I don't know if you all are do you all know like how many songs the Game and Rick Ross actually have together? You know, and it'll be. I actually felt you would have gotten more conviction out of the Game if Rick Ross had dissed the Game publicly, or if Rick Ross was dissing Kendrick Lamar.
No, I mean you made a valid point. Rick Ross has always shown a lot of love to the Game, and I actually think this goes to bad management. You know, Wack has been putting the Game in really weird situations. Of course, you know the Game has to make his own decisions in life, but from the Nipsey thing to now, you know, he has to fight on behalf of Birdman and Drake, even though the Game has always had a good personal relationship with Rick Ross. These things are putting the Game in a weird situation. I think it's alienated him even more, because this is someone who has always been a premier type of MC on the West Coast. When he first came out, people loved the raspiness of his voice, how it sounded like a mixture of East Coast and West Coast fusion of how he rhymed. And at one point, he was considered to be a spitter like the Joe Buttons, like the Roys. And now he's just been reduced to this type of energy of like coming out and dissing people who it seems like he should be cool with. You know, and of course the industry is the industry. You never really know who cool with who until you really see it. But still, it is coming off a bit weird.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna be real with you. There's other thing that goes on with the Game, and you know, I don't know. I'm not into a lot of stuff. I don't know these people personally, and the Game was kind of airing, I guess, Rick Ross's dirty laundry out a little bit, and then I said, well, you know, like I said about the Kendrick shit, I did say if Drake dances in that direction of Kendrick Lamar, it will be the worst mistake of his career. People were snapping at me in the chat. No, he not. He a West Coast hobo hippie. I said, shh, that's the wrong nigga to get on the microphone with. If I'm Drake, okay, with Drake's pedigree, Big Sean got a better chance against Kendrick Lamar than Drake, but that's another story. I don't know, man. I'm going to be real with you all. When I listened to the track, I listened to it about 4 times while we was putting the stream quickly together, because we've been uploading videos left and right. We've been recording, working on these projects, and Sin got some joints she's going to be dropping herself on Monday and Tuesday, so y'all look out for that. Because some of the guys are like, where's Sin? I said, Sin's right here. She's doing a lot of the edits. I'm doing the edits on the audio. We doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, Prince and I, we're a team. If y'all don't see me in the audio, that's because I'm editing the video. Just like if, you know, so I'm not on the audio, Prince is editing my video. We edit each other's videos. Yeah. We give people each other ideas on what the theme of the narration is going to be. So it's just a team effort.
As a rapper, I would like to see Game in a better position. I think there's some other shit that goes on that has happened to him throughout his career that's restricted him. But I didn't feel no conviction in this diss record. You know, Game and Ross got great energy with each other. Ali Boumaye featuring 2 Chainz and Rick Ross is a fantastic track.
Fire track.
It's a fantastic fucking track. Rick Ross had another joint, I believe, with the Game on the the Red album, which is a good album. I believe it was called Don't Shoot.
The Game got like 2 classic albums, and most of his other albums are just really good. Yeah,
the Jesus Piece joint was good. I liked it. You know, I'm gonna be real with you all. Like, I'm not really feeling the Game versus Rick Ross. They're both spitters in their own right. They're both funny, and they're both trolls.
The reasoning. Like, if it was a different reasoning, I would be interested, but I don't like it. It feels like just the Game just being used as a weapon, and if you're gonna use him as a weapon, at least use it properly. If you would have had him come out when Champagne Moments drop, it would have been more. At least, even though we can be like, why are you doing it? But at least we would have been invested. Yeah. It's like now, once it's already been done. Drake has been taken out. He failed. He lost. He revealed himself to be a himbo. He has a slow ass think tank.
Ain't nobody's kicking him while he's down.
Yeah.
Honestly, let's be real. Drake is having a very fair loss than he would have allowed other people. Like when Meg got shot in the pinky toe, the pinky foot or whatever. You know, Drake was right there trolling the shit out of that girl when she was hopping through that trial.
She got shot. Drake has never been actually shot. He's been shot at probably, but he hasn't been shot.
Right.
Girl got shot, Megan Thee Stallion, and a lot of alternative media lied on her, harassed her, bullied her. Drake joined in on his her loss, along with dissing Serena Williams and also dissing Rihanna. So I do agree with you. I don't like the whole bitch made energy, and I'm not talking about from the game. I'm talking about that bitch made energy. Like, people want you to run to the defense of feminine men, but if you run to the defense of a female, there's something wrong. So a mushy ass bitch who's a male, people could be like, oh my god, don't jump him,
right?
But everybody was fine with Megan getting piled on. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah, that's all. Like, and that's what I say. It's kind of weird. They actually giving this nigga Drake some grace with his loss. The only people having fun online that are really trolling are the spectators, which is the audience. And I told you all, I says, listen, first of all, Drake is going to lose against Kendrick Lamar lyrically. I still say people like Big Sean stand a better chance in a battle against Kendrick Lamar. I don't think Drake was necessarily structurally built for a very versatile offensive and defensive player like Kendrick Lamar on the microphone. He wasn't even being able to handle a defensive player like Pusha T. Yeah, when I listened to the diss record, it didn't feel like there was anything there because honestly, the Game and Rick Ross got better synastry together as artists than they do and honestly, like, where's it gonna go with it? So like if the Game to me, let me see what albums. Born to Rap, 1992, The Block Wars, documentary 1 and 2, The Year of the Wolf, OKE Deluxe. A lot of his shit I was still listening to, just like Rick Ross. I was just listening to that they were giving LAX. I thought that one was better than what people gave it credit for, and the Red album was really good too. And that's when a lot of people first heard Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you all. I don't think there's much here. I think if Rick Ross in the Game really got into it, absent the Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle, I actually would have been a lot more interested. But I think because this is happening and we've kind of seen how Drake kind of moved funny, even when he tried to shout out YG and he tried to say that Chris Brown was more Bompton than Kendrick Lamar, that Breezy was more of a gangbanger than, which, that remains to be seen about people trying to be a real criminal or not. But what Drake was trying to weaponize relationships to attack Kendrick Lamar as opposed to just going in the studio and barring up. He did it even when he tried to weaponize his dynamics with SZA against Kendrick Lamar, and SZA said, "Don't involve me." So I think because of how Drake has moved in this situation, I don't like how the Game is being activated at this point in time versus if the Game and Rick Ross really just naturally got into it.
Yeah, I agree. Look, and again, the ball's in Rick Ross' course. He doesn't have to respond, literally. He doesn't have to respond. And again, even though the Game got 2 classic albums, most of his albums outside of those 2 classics have been really good albums. And Rick Ross really don't have to say anything. Now, somebody said, why did I say Eminem has to respond and not Rick Ross? Because Eminem said he's the best MC. If you say you're the best MC, I shouldn't see you going against what's his name from Boston?
Benzino.
I shouldn't see you going against Benzino. I shouldn't see you going against Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. And I love certain albums from Eminem. I think the Eminem Show's a classic album. Mm-hmm. It's his best piece of work. But the Rick Ross doesn't say I'm the greatest MC of all time. Rick Ross is deadly though because he naturally makes beautiful music and he naturally makes beautiful singles, just like he did with Champagne Moments, and they also are silent killers. So like people who was trying to be cute and was dissing Rick Ross, saying, "Oh, it don't mean nothing." Prince and I are hip hop heads. We knew that Champagne Moments was going to be effective because everything Rick Ross said on there led to people being online making jokes about BBLs, and then we had a whole moment with the song turning into an R&B soul song by King on social media, and then we had Metro remix it, and we have kids around the world rapping on it.
It's over.
So people don't know when Rick Ross puts pen to paper, it just naturally moves.
And Rick Ross has been writing for people in the industry for a long time. For over 20 years.
It moves people's subconscious. It's like moves it. It's like you don't see it coming. And then the thing I'll say real quick is that, again, Eminem said he the greatest, so you shouldn't be ducking someone like the game, because when it comes to Eminem's pen game, I expect him to actually go against people like
The Game,
like Lupe, like Joe Button. Those are the type of people I should see you testing your sword with. I shouldn't see you going at the Benzino.
Yeah. I got a theory about this, though. I actually have a theory about this, and I'll just say this. I believe somebody concerning Rick Ross, I can't say who it is, chat, you all are smart. Somebody concerning Rick Ross is looking for Rick Ross to have a 40 Glock moment on camera. That's what I think. We already seen the plane slide off the runway, and I believe this has nothing to do with pen games. I think this is the beginning of a rollout campaign to somehow have Rick Ross to be on camera and trend on social media for having a 40 Glock moment. Maybe he's laid out on the concrete, knocked out, or by other means. We've seen how nasty it's gotten with the likes of Takeoff. But something to be seen publicly on social media. They're not looking to beat Rick Ross on the microphone, and they're not really looking to be out trolling him on social media.
Well, now, what you said with Gladys, I think it feels like death. Because the Birdman Gladys thing, talking about you shouldn't have mentioned Gladys.
Right.
And I think with Drake, it would have just been like, okay, maybe hitting the head on camera, like you said, or something just to embarrass Rick Ross. But with the Gladys thing, it feels like
that's old
a
blood
contract
there.
or something.
That's old shit right there. Yeah, somebody's Look, I mean, they already insinuating the Haitians and the other boys, the other red boys, if y'all know what I mean. So I don't think there's nothing good that's going to come out of this situation with the game and Rick Ross. I think it ends in death somewhere. I think, hats out to Punch from TDE. And, of course, Drake's team would not ever say it in front of the camera because, Drake is still an investment. So, they don't want to look at him as publicly taking a loss. But listen, Jay-Z took a loss with Ether, and Jay-Z still made a classic, the Black Album. He still made 444. Jay-Z was actually able to have a very successful career. It wasn't like what happened to Nelly or Ja Rule, where that was just it.
Well, Jay can write. Jay-Z can write, and there's a lot of rumors that Drake can't ghostwriters, reference tracks.
Well,
some things are confirmed, like Quentin Miller, Lil Yachty.
Yeah, so, listen, we talked about it. I brought it up at the beginning of the stream. I think this is because of the whole Rick Ross trolling Birdman, or saying what he was saying about Birdman. Birdman's money. Birdman doesn't like to have his finances put out there. And, if he wants to project himself as, we sold over 1 billion records. We're the most successful rap label in hip-hop history, which can be a very strong argument for them. I don't think Birdman overtly wants his business out there like that. Rick Ross already trolled Birdman for mismanaging a marquee artist such as Lil Wayne. And look, you all, I think the situation with Game and Rick Ross, it does not end in life anywhere. I think this is a setup for something else. And, personally, if I was Rick Ross, man, I'd blow on past all this bullshit. Just like I told you all, if I was Metro in Future, I'd cut that tour off with Canada.
Yeah, I agree.
Just keeping it real with you because there's too many loose. But we talked about this, but, it is what it is.
If they wanted it, look, Drake is a dumbass. I'm going to say this again. He's a himbo causing too much chaos in the United States. if this was truly on some rap shit, because Drake wants to try to make himself look like a victim, it didn't work.
Yes.
Kendrick smoked him. Not like us.
Like a pack of za.
It's a global theme, and it's a Black American spiritual chant at this point, since he talked about Black history as well. So I love Kendrick Lamar because he loves us. He loves his culture. That's what I fuck with. But to get to the point of this, if this was really on some hip hop shit,
we let it go. We
the
would be
game
talking
should
about
have
it.
been rolled out after Champagne Moments. You know it's not hip hop because they waited till everything's dead. Drake is humiliated beyond reproach. Now all of a sudden, you want the game to come out instead of having him come out when it could have helped you.
Yeah, another thing, I want y'all to think about this real quick, because this we not we'll go more into it on on a later stream or maybe another video. Sin and I will be getting some rest briefly. Pay attention to this, which is interesting about this man Drake. Drake, that's funny. He couldn't really do anything lyrically with Pusha T. Here comes another blood, Jim Jones. Man, I just wanna, I wanna just rap against you, some Rakim and Eric B shit. Some Daddy Kane shit. And we know damn well that Jim Jones is not a battle rapper. At no point in time has Jim Jones ever battle rap anyone. Okay, look, I'm not here to pull nobody's street card, but that's one nigga that I don't think he can take roasting very well without seeing you. Clear case in point, what happened to Freddie Gibbs live on camera, getting his ass whooped in front of his white woman. All
but
right?
he always get beat up.
Yeah.
Is there a rapper
I know, before we get distracted with Gibbs, I get what you're saying. Squid Head
no,
do
I'm
get
not
punched.
getting distracted by him. He just always get punched by a lot of niggas.
Well, he got a big mouth, babe. Gibbs is a Gary, Indiana nigga too. You got to keep that in mind. They're just different. They get hit in the head and they'll keep talking.
His family. He comes from a family of cops. I mean, that hasn't stopped him.
That could be said. The Tiftons. But that's another story. Again, I don't want to get diverted into Freddie Gibbs and because he got his own thing with academics and all that other bullshit. But we knew, though, we said it, sitting there, we talked about it. We said Jim Jones and Jim Jones dissing Pusha T, that's a setup for Pusha T to get his ass whooped somewhere. That's what it is. And then, I don't know, maybe Drake will rap on that audio of Pusha T getting his ass whooped. Here's another blood activated to deal with another rapper that Drake cannot handle. You see that dichotomy there? It's the similar same play. Drake couldn't really deal with Pusha T. Out of nowhere, Jim Jones is activated. They even took him to the block where he's freestyling on the block. I says, whatever, Jimmy. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes the game. Handling Rick Ross. Knowing damn well when Rick Ross plane touchdown, because he got a plane, he travels all across the country to do business, they're looking to have Rick Ross embarrassed on camera somewhere. And we have not seen it below the game, not the game, I'll take that back. We haven't seen it below the belt of the likes of the Drake if something were to happen to Rick Ross. And again, I'm not talking about which men are good or bad. I'm just saying, if Rick Ross is laid out there in the streets like Takeoff, look, Champagne Poppy ain't above liking a post.
And at this point, with Rick Ross, and to be fair, guys,
yeah,
I think it has everything to do with the Gladys comment because
that's what we talked about.
Because the game wasn't activated when Pusha T embarrassed Drake, so why would it matter? I think it's the Gladys comment that got Rick Ross in trouble, and I think that I think that's the reason why. Because Wack has a business relationship, I believe, with Birdman. They were supposed to do a label for the West Coast.
They've done business together.
And they've done business before. Yeah. They did business with
ain't even out in Chicago
Blueface and all this other stuff. Yeah. So
they got feelers everywhere.
I think it's about Birdman. This is about Birdman, and this is why the game has been activated. Rick Ross definitely shouldn't reply.
It's not going to be a good look. And again, it's Birdman. It's the Drake situation because Drake and Bird in the game talk all the time. Drake has been posting online like he's suicidal right now. So you You get what it is. So I just
Kanye dissed though, but to the point.
Yeah.
It is the gladdest thing what you said earlier. Because think about this. Kanye repeatedly dissed Drake. He said, "Go serve your master. Drake is the bitch." The Game had nothing for Future, nothing for Kanye. He didn't focus on none of the other people who dissed Drake. He only focused on Rick Ross. And the only thing we could think of that Rick Ross did that would have this be
is
a case
the
is
Gladys
the Gladys.
comment.
Yeah.
It is. And he's been trolling about all of that. So like I said before, look, this is not even about no rap battle. People are going to be out of their mind if they even begin to this is why I feel a lot of hip-hop platforms kind of dropped the ball with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. They're like, oh, where are the bars? Where's this, that, and third? I said, it's bigger than that. It's not even strictly about who can out-rap. Because if we're talking about who can out-rap the other artists, it's Kendrick. Kendrick writes all of his rhymes. And you know how true that was? Drake said an 8-year-old wrote Good Kid, Mad City for Kendrick. Right? So,
Yeah.
you know, if you were to approach the said alleged beef, I don't even think it's a real thing between the Game and Rick Ross, because I don't even think Game believes that shit. But this has nothing to do with who's the better MC, because they actually would have sparred up a long time ago if this really was that type of energy.
And Rick Ross never does that. He never says I'm the greatest MC.
He just actually raps better than people give him credit for.
Right, and he just usually make hot tracks. But also I was thinking too with this whole situation, I think they also giving the Game bad strategy, because Drake lost by trying to do this academics, Kai Cenat, you know, Aiden Ross name dropping and all this other stuff. No one gives a fuck about these people when it comes to hip hop. And I'm not dissing like Kai Cenat. I know he's like an energized bunny. He's supposed to be like a happy kid who, you know, loves music. But as we saw with Kendrick Lamar had none of these platforms on his side. He is the most popular millennial MC, artist, poet out right now. The numbers have shown the bots have been inflating Drake's numbers. So technically it's really King Kendrick. And Kendrick did not have any of these guys on his side. And yet the public was smart enough to...
Well, that's why he won.
...to go... I mean, they even have...
Yeah, that's actually why he won. None of them was in his ear.
Right. And they even have children reading now. There's school teachers who are saying that Rich Baby Daddy was the song that they were bumping for little kids. Now the little kids say they don't want to listen to Drake and they want to read more and decode Kendrick Lamar's lyrics. So Kendrick is actually good for American children and good for Black American children to be able to hear someone with a very high IQ that's not trying to sell them, you know, destructive music like Sexy Red being promoted in the high schools, going to the high schools again. Wouldn't have a problem with her music if it was just college kids and up, but for some weird reason she keeps going to the high schools. But going back to the point, I think that it's a bad strategy because that strategy Drake lost with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, nobody's really going to be all the way interested other than the online antics. But the Game and Rick Ross made better music together. I don't feel no teeth here. The Game always is going to naturally, at the very least on his lazy day, he's going to be better than a good 75% of the rhymers that are active right now that are visible. But with this particular diss, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't feel no teeth in this one. It wasn't like when he went after Meek Mill. You know, it was something about that. It was something really annoying about Meek Mill. You could feel it in the Game's voice that he just didn't. Oh, it was because of I remember it was for the Kingston thing.
Yeah, he said that. The Game said that Meek Mill said something that could have harmed him with some type of case.
With the police, the police knocking on his door. So he was really irritated by, I believe it was Sean Kingston.
Yeah, he didn't know. He thought it was Kingston or the Game or Meek Mill who like told on him or said he stole something, some shit like that.
Yeah, but the Game on that energy, he was definitely more emotionally invested. This one here, it sounded like the Game was doing this shit while he was making waffles. It kind of like, you know, by the way, I did that little record and fuck that fat nigga. That's what it felt like, you know. So I don't think anything much is going to come out of this situation. You know, if Rick Ross does a tactical error by the game is looking for energy. If you respond to him, then he's going to have conviction and respond back, because now he's going to be like, oh, okay, so you really want to get into it. And that's the type of barbarian lyricist the game is. He will actually need a competitor. He's not going to fold under pressure like Drake did. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. The game is a completely different MC. The more challenging the situation, he folds under pressure. I think when he was going after Eminem knew better.
Eminem would have lost against the game in a rap battle.
Yeah, I actually believe if Eminem would have responded, we would have seen a lyrical side of Game that we hadn't seen ever. Because he's give me an anime character saying that the more you punch the nigga, the stronger they get.
One Punch Man. You can
One
say
Punch
that.
Man. Yeah, the game is a One Punch Man nigga. If Eminem would have hit back, the game would have really went into his bag, and that's what the game is looking for in this particular situation. But I think it just more so has to do with Birdman. And the game kind of sometimes, even though he can be a bully, he kind of got like an anti-bully campaign, and he's kind of big and sensitive. And I'm not just talking about it in the most negative way, but I'm just saying, like, I think he kind of don't like how he feels the world is coming after Drake, because they are cooking the shit out of Drake.
I'm gonna be honest too. I agree with you, Prince, and I'm gonna be honest with you, OE. We also called it a bait track if you listen to our earlier part of the stream, but nobody gives a fuck that is on Academics. Academics don't control or dictate hip-hop. He's for Drake. Drake lost. He's never given Drake any good advice, and he doesn't know hip-hop. He dick rides a lot of things, and I don't want to keep going on about it, but the track being on Academics' platform don't mean shit.
Well, I found it somewhere else.
We found the track somewhere else.
We actually found it somewhere else.
I'm just being honest with y'all. Like, no one gives a fuck. It's not PR. This is fucking hip hop. No one gives a fuck about tracks premiering on shit. And every time something premieres on his shit, it don't do well anyway.
Well, actually,
the game would actually have a better PR if he actually went to some actual real hip hop platforms and gave not a bait track. Because I don't think he should have did a bait track.
I actually
just
think it was
fiery
bad.
diss record. Just come out with it.
I think it's bad too, because it does look. It's coming out of the OVO headquarters. That's another strategy that's tactically an error, because it makes
Great
it look
point.
like, oh, y'all really are teaming up on Kendrick. Because we know Academic is 100% in support of Drake. Drake is taking an L right now. Then on top of that, now it goes back to against Wack 100's point, which I didn't believe him anyway, when at the time of everything getting going, Game posted Drake's enemies. And he posted right when he said, I got rap niggas that I gotta act like I like. And people felt like, was he subbing Kendrick Lamar? My personal opinion is just a theory. I could be wrong. I think there is some whisper subs with each other, because at the beginning of Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar says, I see dead people. Just like the Game said at the beginning of One Blood. And that's a reference to the track One Blood. Like, hey, nigga, we supposed to be one blood, right? And they kind of are associated with the same color. I'll put that out there. That being the case, though, it being debuted on Academics' platform, who is the vice chairman of the OVO headquarters and corporation, it does make it look like a team, an OVO team against Kendrick Lamar situation. I just don't think this is necessarily going to run the play that people wanted to run, and I think it's not going to really get the results people are looking for. And I said to Sin and I, we talked about this on the previous stream. We said we believe the Game is going to diss Rick Ross at some point in time. The Game is going to show up. And the Game does have a soft spot for Drake. He sees that Drake is getting washed right now, and he's kind of trying to come in like Big Brother, like, let me try to straighten some furniture out. But that like I told you all before, this is hip-hop. I keep saying it. The Barbs don't run nothing. The people that support Kendrick Lamar and talking about the hardcore stands of Kendrick Lamar, no one group of an artist fan base runs the general results of people that are going to declare a winner. The public declared a winner. They didn't like some of the talking points of Drake, talking about you trying to free the slaves, and there's a lot of things that's been working against Drake.
For my dogs, whips and chains like an American slave, that too.
Yeah, so it debuting on DJ Academic's platform doesn't really help the game in his campaign because it looks like pro OVO.
Yeah, it's like some people gonna say OVO dick riding. The himbo Drake already lost. I think it would have been a better strategy if it wasn't a bait track.
Right.
Because don't do no bait tracks. We're at a time where we just want to hear fiery bars, great diss records. We don't want to hear no bait track. And and if you're gonna do a bait track, it has to be something that is listenable. Like if we're talking about clubs and cars and stuff like that, like what Kendrick did as a bait track was genius with like that. Or even if you want to talk about infrared is actually a good bump to listen to. Yeah. I also think Game has the qualities to put out tracks like that that can catch the people's ear. I just think following the same blueprint that the OVO Sweatshop and the people behind Drake, this failed before. Drake put out a bait track with push-ups. It got leaked, and then he had to hurry up and dress it up and premiere it on Academic's platform. It did horrible. And
I promise you, the Game has some other shit ready. He's probably working on some right now. I don't see where this is really going to go. As far as I'm concerned, and Rick Ross, to be realistic, Rick Ross was one of the supportive artists that was preventing the Game from becoming an invisible West Coast rapper. I think the Game plays a very important role in bringing the West Coast back from the dead as an artist, not the production, because a lot of producers from the West Coast was keeping the energy of West Coast alive, but a lot of New York niggas was rapping over their track. Southern niggas was rapping over their track. When the Game came out, he was like the first MC at that level to be seen to be able to go at any MC from any other coastal region. And I think the Game also plays a crucial role in the likes of Kendrick Lamar and Nipsey Hussle. And maybe the Game doesn't feel he gets that credit per se. That's another story. That's a whole nother conversation and stream. But I just don't feel I don't feel the same energy I felt from the Game on Blood Moon, the Year of the Wolf, when he did the track Bigger Than Me, or when he did 300 Bars. And I know that was a long time ago, but the Game has gotten busy as of recently, even with the likes of Meek Mill.
That's why these bait tracks don't work. It don't get nobody outside. Like they're not good. And the Game is far superior than Drake, who has ghostwriters. Yeah. He should have just came out with a knocking diss record. The strategy to talk about Academics got a lot of views. Who cares? His entire think tank, his entire viewership failed and got a big L when Kendrick Lamar whooped ass.
He's whooping feet.
Like Kendrick Lamar
I don't think.
go ahead.
No, that's all I was gonna say. I'm gonna be honest with you all. Like, I don't feel this was the strongest diss track that we traditionally get from the Game. And Game is actually not a warm-up rapper either. He usually starts dropping like bombs right out the gate. I think when he got a little bit more nastier towards the end, and he said that Rick Ross likes drugging women, and like I said, if Rick Ross responds and he goes that other direction with that stuff concerning the Game, it's going to immediately get nasty at that point, And listen, Drake is already in a very miserable state right now. We see it from his story, his IG stories that he's posting online right now. He's talking about if he's gone, will people miss him, this, that, and the third. So I think at this point in time, I will give it hats off to Kendrick and Punch. I respect how they handled this situation as gentlemen. They said, all right, that's enough. We're done. Academics is alluding that some other music is coming. I'm going to be honest with you. We're not interested. Listen, I know outside of people having fun because, like, what's the sister that does the tennis, the tennis star?
Serena Williams? Oh, the other one.
The one that's with Corday.
The one I don't know if they're together anymore, but the one half Japanese, half black. Yeah.
Yeah, she actually said she just wants to see which creative direction Kendrick Lamar goes with the diss record.
I just want to hear more Kendrick Lamar music too.
Yeah, but I don't know, Game. It don't sound like play. You got conviction on this one. I'm gonna call it ace a spade, shouty, man. Look. I've listened to enough of Game's records. I know when the niggas really like.
Pest Control. That shit was crazy good.
Game usually, if he drops a diss record, unless by his own design, he usually don't need to do another one. So,
that's why, because I'm saying they trying to tell him to do the same strategy that failed with Drake. And
thank you, Naomi Osaka. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Sin.
Right, she's a pretty good tennis player as well. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, it's really important for people to see that. You know. And iDevil, you could bitch all you want, but if you don't like my voice, you can hop your dusty ass off the chat. I'm tired of people trying to act like they know what they're talking about, yet this platform has been 10 steps ahead of a lot of motherfuckers who've been dick riding, the OVO train and all that other stuff. Academics and a lot of these other niggas are slow as fuck, low IQ motherfuckers who give advice and make people fail. On some loser ass shit. Where's Drake? A legend that he's suicidal, crying like a little gay ass bitch, crying on the floor because Kendrick, the superior artist, won, who actually writes his lyrics. You know, the food stamp train that Drake was on is over. You know, the great writers don't write for him anymore. Lil Wayne don't write for him no more. Rick Ross don't write for him anymore. He's been pushed down the lane to have Lil Yachty write for him, which is hilarious. Okay? The culture don't want these dipshits anymore. Get over it. Eat a fucking dick. We want intelligent people. We don't want you slow niggas anymore. You slow ass niggas are why the culture was dying, so thirsty of water, where they needed this Kendrick Lamar moment, because y'all dumbasses have been dick riding the slowest niggas in the culture for years now. Because some white zaddy tell you some low IQ person is that nigga, until a real nigga come in the room and you see the dumbass nigga lose.
Yeah, so, you know, look, man, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. This game, shouty, man, I'm going to tell you, play it, dog. This ain't it. This ain't it, dog. This ain't it, nigga. I just be real with you. Like, I didn't listen to a million Game diss records, and the nigga got a million in one of them that we ain't heard. This one don't feel like it don't feel no conviction in it. You know, it's just Game doing what he's doing, but I don't see nothing here. I think this is a distracting tool from Drake taking such a huge L. Drake took a bigger L than Ja Rule, ladies and gentlemen. I said that the first time. People was like, damn, worse than Ja Rule. Yeah, because you got to remember, the feds jammed Ja Rule up. And to the Chinese fat man himself, to Irv Gotti's point, right? He said they really couldn't talk that real shit because the feds was watching him. He said, so like what we could say, what we wish we could have said in the battle, we really couldn't say because the feds were investigating us as a possible crime entity, being tied to Supreme, right?
That's right.
So
and Java was making good music. He still lost.
So to the well, no, he also lost because, like, to the point though, he couldn't. You know, like, technically, Ja Rule and them boys was getting a ass whoop with their hands tied behind their back. No one has Drake's hands tied behind his back. The nigga went in there and he could not outright or outrhyme the other nigga. That simple. It's very clean. I don't want to hear all of these OVO malls and these OVO stands, explanations as to why. He just couldn't beat the superior MC. And I do agree with my favorite member of the Locks, Styles P. The stardom has changed and ruined what the rules are. It's allowed. It's like what Styles P said. He said, how does a guy that doesn't write is allowed to dictate how long does it take for the other MC to respond back? And people have been blinded by stardom in this Drake situation. Drake is not the better artist. People keep talking about popularity. Well, then why aren't everybody doing the Keke Palmer dance from Canada on top of K-Dot's head?
He's popular off of other people's pin game. And again, when the black American riders stopped riding for him, Rick Ross, the T.I.s, the Lil Waynes, his popularity started to dip. He don't have those riders anymore. This is why he can't come up with anything. And then the people he trying to get from out of the country, like Beam music is good if you go listen to it on his own shit.
Listen to the track Lost.
Yeah, Lost on it. That shit's got a gun on it.
Yeah.
But when Drake does his shit, now that I listen to it, Drake sound like a Dollar General version of his shit. Then when Drake does Yachty style, and sorry Yachty, I don't even like your shit, but it works for you, that candy rainbow shit you do. But
my life.
Right. But it works for you. Drake's look like, oh no, I was about to say something that was gonna get me canceled. I'm not gonna mention no mental illness. But Drake looks like a bum. He looks like he's supposed to be on the slow bus. Why is your nails painted? You're not even a part of the alternative type of people. You're not an alternative type of artist. Why are you painting your nails? Why you got doing a weird ass ASAP Rocky merged with Lil Yachty style? You're not you're not a fashion nigga.
Yeah, but don't forget about Travis Scott too.
The Travis Scott thing too.
It's that whole sad the
Drake
St.
looked like a 50-year-old.
The St. Louis shit. You know, it's a lot.
He looked like a 50-year-old Asian nigga. Like even when he was on the Sexy Red video, he looked like somebody's daddy.
I know, baby. I get it, sweetie. I'm over it. You know, we'll continue to put the content out. But once Game came in there and it's just this whole shit with Rick Ross, and I'm just like, niggas, where y'all going with this fucking shit? One of you old niggas gonna get killed? Like, right. I'm gonna be real with you because, as we stated before, you know, I'm more interested in what J. Cole has to say on the fall off.
I am. J. Cole made the right decision.
This is because I wasn't interested in the fall off. Now this has generated interest for me in the fall off more than Rick Ross and Game going back and forth with each other, or even a Drake track. You know, I felt like the law of the universe was in effect when Kendrick won. That simple. We don't need nobody keep coming back on some fresh and fit shit, because I want this fresh and fit rap shit out the way. You know, I am.
That incel shit rapping, which Drake is trying to push.
I'm just trying to incel hop.
It's not working. It's just not working. And yeah, Cat Williams is a part of that whole Prince shit. Him painting his nails, different situation. Drake didn't start painting his nails until he turned 40 years old. Come on now.
His head too big.
He got a fat ass head. He should not be painting his nails, and he didn't do it until he started going even further under Lucian Grange. And we already know there's an agenda there. Again, I'm not talking about the alternative people, the alternative kids, whatever, punk rock, emo, hip hop. I'm not talking about that. We all know that Drake has been made to think that he could do any type of style.
You know what's saying?
Because the corporate interest is behind him.
When we keep talking about like what I am losing energy right now.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I'm not at this point. I do enjoy ranting.
I know you do.
I just feel like you gotta rant.
No, you enjoy when you saw somebody say something stupid in that chat.
I know it gives me energy.
I know, but
guess chaos.
When we discuss how sorry the energy has been though with Drake, and then like academics keep saying, "Hey guys, hold it. One more he has in the tank." Like, I don't care.
I'm tired of these desperate housewife bitches. That's all I'm saying. I'm just tired of it.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you all. I'm going bored now. I'm going bored of the situation. And Game sounded bored when he was rapping. He did not sound like he was interested in anything. It just seems like I'm gonna kind of go out here and flex my teeth. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know I'm the big old crazy tall nigga, and that's about it. You know.
I'll say this though, Drake not being able to rap and being able to be out here for 15 years lying with a bunch of ghostwriters, and then Kendrick doing all this great music has inspired me to rap. I'm like, if this whack ass nigga can rap, you know, and Sexy Red is not good, you know, I guess I may go out there and start rapping.
Yeah, get out there. Go on. Do your thing. Because, look, they tried to redefine everything when it comes to a rapper. I'm going to be honest with you all. Look, I even think it's embarrassing that people thought these two niggas, as far as artistic quality goes, I actually I think new niggas need to clear their liver and kidney because they're delusional. If one nigga has somebody come out and say, and we hear the reference tracks, how are you all telling him to go in the match with a nigga that raps in 15 different styles on every track? Kendrick Lamar,
15 different dimensions.
He raps in 15 different styles on every track. He switches flows like it's nothing. He's forward, backwards, sideways. He's giving you perspective, multi-stories. He's giving you a bunch of shit. And you guys are going to tell me, oh, yeah, but, lyrically, and it's even questioned that his best work was in a light pack. So that's it, Sin. I think we ready to close it on down, babe.
I don't know. I feel like Sin, I got still a little bit more in me.
Nah, let's go and get up out of here,
babe. You could patrol then.
You can what?
Patrol, like do what you do with the ones and twos on the keyboard and all that while I do my thing. Just like I do for you. When I'm tired of a live, I just walk away.
Now, Simbi said, okay, guys, we're about to wrap it up. Yeah, so what do you want to say? Yeah, most of the time, babe. So what do you want to say about the situation with the game? And
well, it looked like the chat is mostly good people in the chat again. So, but
who was the one person? Because I'll be paying attention. Like some of the niggas, I'm not gonna lie. Some of y'all in the chat be like, "Fuck Prince," and I promise you, sometimes I just don't see it.
It was the IC bitch, and I guess I'm in the mood for confrontation. Could be that.
You feeling like the game? There you go. You feeling like the game? You bored too? Seeing bored too.
I am probably bored.
You bored too? So
I'm trying to start trouble like the game.
Fight me, nigga.
Y'all niggas,
who's next?
What bitch want to start with me?
Lemon pepperines.
I'll take any nigga, any day. Any nigga try to battle with me, I'll fuck all you niggas up.
Oh, shouts out to AM1 too, by the way. That's funny. AM1, shouts out to AM1 too, by the way. They do wonderful work over there. He's very good work, so. But, hey, I'm going to tell you something. Nah, realistically, man, this battle between Rick Ross and Game is going to put y'all niggas asleep. I promise you all. This ain't nothing. This all got to do with that Birdman Rick Ross shit. That's what this got to do with. And to try to take some heat off of Drake getting cooked, but the public dancing to that nigga. Losing. Yeah. See, the NBA it's in the finals. It's in the playoffs.
Not like us. Not like us. Not like us.
They said, speaking of Ja Rule, he's dropping in a couple days.
I don't care.
All right, Sam, you are looking for conflict.
Why? No, I'm being honest with the person.
Sid is looking for conflict.
No. To the person in the chat who I'm responding to, I'm not looking for a conflict with you because you didn't say nothing smart to me. I'm saying I just don't care about Ja Rule music at this point.
What do you care about, Sid?
I think that Ja Rule and Irv Gotti, what they did with Ashanti was foul, including Ja Rule. He didn't go to the same extent, but that whole
he didn't defend her either.
That J-Lo scam, I just think was just bad for the culture.
All right, that's how you got Drake.
Yeah, I mean J-Lo.
Drake low.
Yeah, J-Lo crawled so Drake can walk, cause you know that Jennifer Lopez kept stealing from Mariah Carey, then Ashanti was pinning for her, and it's like, what's the point? Ashanti was already popular. Why did you need to give her shit to J-Lo? Kind of like what I'm thinking about even the Drake thing. Lil Wayne was popular. Why did he have to ghostwrite for Drake allegedly? I mean, you get what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. Don't make no sense to me. The Heart 6 from Drake was ass. That's my opinion, real opinion. People get confused because I have a strategic mind. So, and I also can talk from, different people's perspectives. That's I like to do that when I'm doing a conversation with Prince. But that Heart 6 was ass. What do you think about it too, Prince, about the Heart Part 6?
Oh, but I told you what it was when we was live.
He said his ass.
Yeah, I told you that. I told Sam I wasn't going to try to do no nuance with that fucking track. It was garbage.
Well, I have to do nuances at that time because
it depends on what mood Sam is in.
No, because the story's over now. You know, when you being a hip hop journalist, you have to speak on both side's perspective and then say your own opinion.
Well, that's your. I know that's how you do your thing. My thing is, that shit was garbage. I didn't want to hear that shit. That nigga would sound like he had respiratory issues at the end of the fucking track. I said, come on, nigga, you started all of this shit. You told this nigga drop, and give me 50. Then you're gonna say at the end of it, Heart Part 6 and say, well, I know you got like 10 more that you're gonna keep dropping. I said, man, get this motherfucker out of here, nigga.
I like to cha-cha in the Dominican. I mean, yeah, people say Ross is fake, but you know, also Prince, you keep trying to leave. I'm gonna keep asking you questions. I'm gonna keep asking you questions. But Prince is trying to leave the live show, everyone. Rick Ross, a lot of these rappers are fake, but I care about, can you write? Rick Ross can write. He makes good music. Now, if y'all want to talk about, you know, what's his association to Diddy? What did he mean about she didn't even know it? Those are valid things to bring up, you know. But when I'm listening to hip hop, my first thing that I listen to is, can you actually rap? You get what I'm saying? And Rick Ross can rap. He can put good music together. Drake cannot. So not only Drake is lying about certain lifestyles and lying about other niggas' hoods and shit, but on top of all that, he doesn't even have the redeeming quality to be a writer. You get what I'm saying? Ross discography, I respect. I agree. Like, again, any bad behavior that Rick Ross has not been convicted of anything. This is what we say for anybody. But if you want to go into the rabbit hole of what's going on with certain associations and things like that, y'all can have at it, because, you know, it would probably be right. But if you're talking about just music alone, Drake don't have no redeeming qualities because no one has proven what he's actually wrote. We had a Patreon stream where we compared different tracks, and Pop That sounded like it was written by T.I. Then The Motto sounded like it was written by Lil Wayne. Then we have Quentin Miller, who wrote on If You're Reading It's Too Late. Then the Dark Lane shit, Beam. Then he's rapping like he's a UK artist, Gigs. Now he's sounding like Central C, because Central C is probably pinning for him. Who fucking knows? I don't know who this Morph nigga is. And I just don't think he's worth all this trouble, especially since you're not even talented to write your own shit. This is why you got destroyed by a writer. So, you know, that's my thoughts on that. You know, I just think that, you know, again, it's a lot of bullshit. But let's see. 8 Ball said Drake's still a Nickelodeon star playing hip hop Playboy. Yeah, this is his greatest role. His greatest role he ever played. Kendrick cleaned him up in any category possible. Dot out hip hop Drake easily. Absolutely. Now people glazing when you say a fact. How is it glazing or slurping to say that Kendrick is better than Drake? He is. He writes his own shit. This is how we got Euphoria. This is how we got 616. This is how we got Not Like Us. He is a writer. Drake is not. It's only to the anal cum buckets that Drake's is superior. Prince is saying that's nasty. Wrap it up. Princess told me, get off the mic. Wait, one other thing. One more thing.
I didn't let you slide for 2 minutes.
I'm just tired of these closeted hoes who trying to pretend that if you say a superior artist is a superior artist, it's like if you say, Aretha Franklin can sing, right? Let's say you say, Aretha Franklin got a better voice than Britney Spears. Oh my God, you glazing. You slopping.
Sin, stop being raggedy and take your ass to Patreon. Now that's enough. I'm gonna cut your mic. I'm being polite right now. Get your ass off this mic up here cursing like you ain't got no sense.
He didn't like the anal part.
Yeah, you talking like you supposed to be on Patreon. God damn it, this is still YouTube.
They don't care about that.
Yes, they do, girl.
Come on, this is at the end of it. What they gonna do?
And that's what they monitor. Get your ass off the mic, nigga. Don't let these old sucking niggas out here. They're gonna convince
I
you.
like talking like this. It's fun.
Yeah, you over here being suckered by people in the chat. That's right, Prince. That's right, Sin. Drive off the. Hey, Prince, she gonna drive off the chat. She gonna drive. Get your ass off the mic.
I'm having fun, Prince.
And you can have fun on Patreon. Hey, you already know. Because guess what? If I'm going off, where does Sin be at? Where does Mama Sin be at? Prince!
But I'm having fun, though. I'm not really angry.
Sin ain't cooking. She burning shit.
I'm cooking.
She burning
I
shit.
am cooking. As they say, I'm cooking.
Say it again, Sid.
He just
You see that? All right. Sin. All right. Now, you don't need to go NC-17.
I like going NC-17.
On Patreon. That's what they pay for. Now, you still don't get... Look at the black woman messing up the money. Now,
they demonetized us on here, though.
I know, but that's what I'm trying to get you to get over there, though.
Prince, I mean, this is just a early morning. This is actually the time when you talk like
you
this.
And I agreed
it's
to 40.
3:34.
No, you and I, we had an agreement. We said 45 minutes to an hour. Once again, the black woman does not follow directions.
We haven't.
We had an agreement. But anyway, what did you want to say, babe? Go ahead.
You stopped the fire. You interrupted.
That's what
cooking.
I'm supposed to do.
You just interrupted.
Jay
the
Prince right now. Fuck all that.
No, because I would never allow myself to get Drake and get sat down.
Well, then say I stopped nothing. I just saved your life. Black man saving a black woman's life, and she don't touch me. You know, she don't need that. Monique tripping on stage right now. She yelling at everyone. All right.
There's nothing else to talk about with this subject.
That's what I'm trying to
You should have just let me continue on until I had nothing else to say.
You see where you was going with it. What?
You just felt I was going to be too vulgar. And it's 3:36 a.m.
And you should be on Patreon.
Who going to be on Patreon at 3:36 a.m.?
The chat would. Who you asking? This is the wrong chat to ask. Them niggas will slide right over there.
Why didn't we have a Patreon stream on this?
Because you and I agreed to 45 minutes. And you said, no, I want to go ahead and talk 30 more minutes. Come bucket, come bucket, come bucket, come bucket, come bucket, come bucket. See, that's what you was doing. Your dot head was over there cutting up.
I want to have one last fun.
Go ahead.
I want to say one last thing. Steph, I'm going to read your comment. Sin is proven fresh and fit right, not listening to the black man. Didn't one of them shoot up a foreigner? And was a dumbass simp and got her papers done so she could be in the United States? I don't listen to slow ass niggas, and I'm not calling you a slow ass nigga, but one knocked up a foreign exchange student, and the other one is gay. Okay, the flamingo bitch, thin nose one, that's a gay man. So I think guys are fucking up when they listening to a gay nigga. And then the other nigga is impregnated and prostitute. So they can't give heterosexual men any good advice. That's just my opinion. Oh, and let me say allegedly because so people can't sue thought crimes. Allegedly, the one with the thin nose is gay. Allegedly. All right, I'm going to end the show now. I love you all. I appreciate y'all. This has been a really good time. Matt said the black man suppressing the black woman's voice again.
Who said that shit?
People say the same thing in reverse though when I close the show. They do the same thing when I say when I say wrap it up. People be like, "Oh, Sin is being boring." So
you see that? You see all these crackers in the chat?
No.
Trying to divide the black family. She runs you. You remember some of the black girls were saying that? Sin, don't let him control you like that. Prince, don't let her run you like that. I said, y'all stop being crackers.
That shit was funny though.
Yeah, y'all stop being crackers.
The Arab world wouldn't accept Myron because we know what Myron is.
The who?
Myron from the gay fish. Myra would not be accepted in the Arab world. That's why Myra is in the United States having secret closeted butt sex with white men. That's what I think.
All right, y'all.
Allegedly.
We got to get out of here.
Allegedly.
All right, we love you all. Y'all take care. Peace. All right.
Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me.
Is that a challenge?
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Black folks are nosy. They have specials. Nosy specials. Why does a bee make honey? You ain't a bee. Why do you give a fuck?
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
If he dies, he dies.
Go to our Patreon for more. And don't bother me.